Pamela Mastropietro was a 19-year-old woman full of life and beauty. Born in Rome on November 24, 1998, she was a bright and energetic young woman who, like many her age, dreamed of a fulfilling and happy future. However, beneath her bright exterior, Pamela struggled with personal demons that would tragically make her vulnerable to the circumstances that led to her brutal murder. Pamela's story is not just one of tragedy, but also a reflection of the dangers of trust misplaced in the wrong hands. This is the chilling and heartbreaking case of Pamela Mastropietro, whose murder shocked Italy and the world. Pamela's early life and struggles. Pamela was raised in Rome, where she lived with her family. She was described by her loved ones as kind-hearted and vivacious. But like many young people, Pamela faced her share of challenges. In her late teens, she began to struggle with substance abuse, a battle that deeply concerned her family. Recognizing her need for help, Pamela's family encouraged her to seek treatment. With their support, she entered a rehabilitation program in Corridonia, a small town in the marsh region of central Italy. The program seemed to offer Pamela a fresh start. She began making progress, regaining hope for the future, and working toward recovery. But on January 29, 2018, everything changed. Pamela left the rehab facility abruptly, taking a small red suitcase with her. She didn't inform anyone of her plans or destination. For her family, this unexpected departure was a troubling sign. Their fears would soon be confirmed in the most horrifying way imaginable. The final hours. After leaving the rehab center, Pamela was seen wandering the streets of Macerata, a nearby town. Surveillance cameras captured her movements as she walked alone, appearing disoriented and unsure of where she was going. It was during this time that Pamela encountered a man who would seal her fate, innocent Oseghale. Oseghale was a 29-year-old Nigerian immigrant with a criminal history that included drug dealing. Living in Macerata, he had established himself as part of the local underworld. When he saw Pamela, vulnerable and alone, he offered her a place to stay. Pamela, possibly in need of shelter and seeking drugs, accepted his offer. She followed him to his apartment, unaware of the danger she was walking into. This seemingly innocent act of trust would lead to an unimaginable tragedy: the discovery of the suitcases. 2 days later, on January 31, 2018, a gruesome discovery was made in Palenza, a small town near Macerata. 2 suitcases were found abandoned by the side of a country road. Inside were the dismembered remains of Pamela Mastropietro. The discovery horrified both the local community and the nation. The brutality of the crime was unlike anything the small Italian town had ever seen. Pamela's body had been meticulously dismembered, with traces of bleach on the remains indicating an attempt to destroy evidence. Forensic analysis would later reveal even more harrowing details. Pamela had been stabbed multiple times before her body was dismembered. The wounds showed that she was alive at the time of the attack, ruling out the possibility of a natural death or drug overdose. Tracing Pamela's final movements. Investigators quickly pieced together the events leading to Pamela's death. Surveillance footage showed her entering Oseghale's apartment, but never leaving. Police obtained a warrant to search his home, where they found evidence that linked him to the crime. Bloodstains matching Pamela's DNA were discovered in the apartment, along with traces of bleach. Further investigation revealed that Oseghale had attempted to conceal the crime by cleaning the scene and disposing of Pamela's body in the suitcases. Initially, Oseghale denied any involvement in Pamela's death. He claimed that she had died of a drug overdose in his apartment and that he panicked, leading him to dismember her body. However, this explanation was quickly disproven by forensic evidence. The motive and crime scene details. As the case unfolded, prosecutors painted a chilling picture of the events that took place in Oseghale's apartment. It was alleged that Oseghale attempted to sexually assault Pamela. When she resisted, he became violent, stabbing her multiple times. The forensic evidence supported this theory. Autopsy results revealed signs of sexual violence and defensive wounds on Pamela's body, indicating that she fought for her life. The deliberate and systematic dismemberment of her body further demonstrated the calculated nature of the crime. Oseghale's background also came under scrutiny during the investigation. He was a known drug dealer with a history of exploiting vulnerable individuals. His interactions with Pamela that day were likely driven by his criminal intentions, which ended in her brutal murder. The trial and conviction. The trial of innocent Oseghale began in February 2019, drawing national and international attention. The case was not only a legal battle, but also a deeply emotional ordeal for Pamela's family, who attended every hearing. During the trial, the prosecution presented compelling evidence against Oseghale, including the DNA findings, surveillance footage, and forensic reports. Witnesses testified about Oseghale's criminal behavior, and experts detailed the brutal nature of the crime. In May 2019, Oseghale was convicted of murder, sexual violence, and destruction of a corpse. He was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole. The verdict brought some sense of justice to Pamela's family, but it could never erase the pain of their loss. The broader impact. Pamela's murder sparked widespread outrage in Italy and beyond. The brutality of the crime and the vulnerability of the victim resonated deeply with the public. Her case became a symbol of the dangers faced by young people struggling with addiction and exploitation. The case also ignited debates about immigration and crime in Italy. Some politicians used the tragedy to advance anti-immigration agendas, focusing on Oseghale's status as a Nigerian immigrant. This rhetoric overshadowed the personal and systemic issues that contributed to Pamela's vulnerability, such as inadequate support for addiction recovery and the prevalence of drug-related exploitation. Pamela's legacy. Despite the horror of her death, Pamela's story has inspired calls for change. Her mother, Alessandra Verni, has become an outspoken advocate for victims' rights and addiction recovery programs. Through her advocacy, she hopes to prevent other families from experiencing the same devastating loss. Pamela's legacy also serves as a stark reminder of the importance of protecting vulnerable individuals. Her life and tragic death highlight the need for greater awareness, education, and support systems to address issues such as addiction, exploitation, and violence. Reflections on the case. The murder of Pamela Mastropietro is a haunting reminder of how trust can be betrayed in the most devastating ways. It's a story of a young woman who sought help and hope, but encountered unimaginable darkness. Her death is a profound loss, not only to her family and friends, but to society as a whole. Pamela's story challenges us to confront difficult questions about vulnerability, justice, and the responsibilities we share as a community to protect those in need. While her life was tragically cut short, her story continues to resonate, urging us to strive for a world where such tragedies can be prevented. Thank you for joining us in exploring the tragic story of Pamela Mastropietro. Her case is a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance, compassion, and justice in a world that can often be cruel. If you found this documentary compelling and informative, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. By doing so, you'll help us continue to share stories that matter, honor the victims, and shed light on the darkest corners of our world.